Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our session, friends. We'll quickly understand what we have covered yesterday. Then, we'll start for the day. We'll take a topic and we'll go ahead. Right. So, yesterday we have started the program successfully, and we got a good kind of appreciation from the audience. Whoever is attending these sessions got good some kind of good compliments, good feedback has been received. Thank you for the feedback, friends. So yesterday we have understood what is Power BI, right? It's a BI tool, business intelligence tool that is leading the current market, right? So why someone should learn Power BI and how Power BI helps a person coming from different domains. Okay, so even though if they come from different domains and if they want to be or if they want to get hired as a data analyst, Power BI is going to help these folks or business analyst or someone who is uh, you know showing some enthusiasm in the field of visualizations. So for those folks, Power BI will help out. Okay, as I have promised yesterday, from today, from day two, the complete sessions will be hands-on, friends. Okay, uh, you know, we'll take a use case and we'll try to explain each and every topic. Okay, right. So Power BI is a tool, BI tool. Okay, where we are going to convert the raw data that the client is actually going to share with us. So this data will be converted to visualizations, some kind of plots. Okay, right. So taking these visualizations, we'll draw some insights. Based on these insights, client is going to take some actions. This is the process. This is the journey. According to these actions, company's revenue grow. So when I'm speaking about Power BI, so I was talking about the installation. If you are using Windows machine, Power BI installation is very easy. Okay, so Power BI comes with n number of products. Out of those n number of products, one of the product that we are going to learn in these sessions is Power BI Desktop. So this is for free. Microsoft is not going to charge any kind of money for this product, Power BI Desktop, and it is readily available in Microsoft Store. Okay, so if you are actually planning to install Power BI Desktop, in the search bar, type as keep it as Microsoft Store. Okay, so when you click on enter, Microsoft Store opens, and inside the Microsoft Store, search for Power BI Desktop. Then click on get. So you'll have an option called get. If you click on get option, this Power BI Desktop gets downloaded and you can start using it. But don't sign in until I tell you. Okay, at some point of time, we'll do this sign in. For time being, this is not required. So as I have already installed and my Microsoft Power BI desktop version is the oldest one, and if you're trying to install it now, you'll get a newer version. So this is one way of downloading, friends. I'll just show you all these things quickly. In the search bar, especially people who are using Windows. Okay, if you are using Mac, it's a complete different story. Okay, we have to install virtual machine, then we have to install Power BI Desktop. For Mac, Power BI Desktop it does not support directly, so we have to install VM. Right. So for Windows users, so keep it as Microsoft Store. then click on that particular application. Okay, it's taking time. It's done. Once after launching Microsoft Store, in the search bar, keep it as Power BI Desktop C. It's an application which is readily available in our Microsoft Store. And since I have installed it, I see an option like open, but if you don't install it, you'll have like get, okay, or probably download. So once if you click on that option, Power BI Desktop gets downloaded, gets installed into our machine, local machine. Post installing Power BI Desktop, in the search bar again search for Power BI Desktop. Okay, only after installation. Then click on open. It launches Power BI Desktop. So very simple, because it's the tool of Microsoft, right? So we not struggle more. So once if you have this Power BI Desktop installed, what are we supposed to do? Yesterday I was talking about all these things. I mean, components of Power BI. What are the components of Power BI, friends? Power BI has how many components? I want everyone to be active, and you know mm, okay, by the time I'll just revise previous class. Yep. So Power BI has in total 6 components. What are 6 components? Good, good. I want everyone to be active. There are 6 components in Power BI. The first one is Power Query Editor. Power Query Editor. Then second one is Power Pivot. Okay. Then what is the third one? Power Map. Good. Power Map. Fourth, Power View. Good. Fifth component, Power BI Q&A. Power BI Q&A. Question and answer. Sixth one, Power BI Service. Power BI Service is also called as Power BI Pro. It is also called as Power BI Pro. It is also having one more name, also called as Cloud. So all of these three are same. Either you name it as service or pro or cloud. Three names mean same. Okay. Now let us talk about each and every component usage. For what purpose we use Power Query Editor? What is the use of Power Query Editor, friends? Respond. Even though if you are wrong, that's okay. Transforming, cleaning. In short, transforming the data, transformations, cleaning, pre-processing, whatever you might call it as. Good. Power Pivot component is used for data clean. Yeah, whatever, that's what. So if you want to do some kind of preliminary cleaning activities, we go and use Power Query Editor component. Done. Power Pivot is used for data modeling. What do you mean by data modeling? Data modeling is nothing but, you see here, we'll talk about this. Okay, that's nothing but where we do data modeling and all. It's nothing but Power Pivot. Okay, so data modeling is nothing but establishing the relationship between the data, the tables. We'll create some kind of models. Again, friends, don't get confused. Models doesn't mean machine learning or AI models. Those models are different, and these are completely different. Okay, Power Map. What is the use of Power Map component? Power Map is to visualize geospatial data. So if you have latitude and longitudes data, okay, so such kind of data, geospatial data, then Power Map component will be used. All the map visuals comes into the picture. Good. Power View. What is the use of Power View component? Power View is for visualizations. So out of these, this particular component is completely, it's having a more weightage. Ultimately, the raw data has to be visualized. You are cleaning the data once after setting some kind of models. You'll try to visualize them. The data will be visualized. Okay, you'll create some plots, and these plots gives us some insights. Okay, everything we are going to learn. Yeah, interactive plots. Then Power BI Q&A. What does Power BI Q&A component? In which way it is going to help us? This is also going to give some kind of visualizations, but it's an AI driven capability that Power BI has. It means when you ask a question to this component, when you are using this component with respect to visualizations, okay, when you ask a question, it results us in some kind of visual. It results us in visuals, right? And the final one is Power BI Service or Pro or Cloud. What is the use of this particular component, Service, Pro or Cloud? What might be the usage case? Sharing. You can share your work. It might be report, dashboard, or anything among your organization. Yes, across the organization, you can share your work. You can create some kind of schedule refresh. Okay, you can create some kind of notifications. Everything can be done only in service or pro or cloud. And this service pro or cloud is not free, but we still use this Power BI service using temporary IDs. Okay, so if you are going to, learn, especially if you're going to join all these 20 days, you're going to cover till Power BI service. It means all these six components you're going to learn as part of this journey. Okay, if you're going to skip any of the classes, again, it's upon you, your availability, your time. Okay, even though if you are going to skip any of the classes, make sure that you go through the recorded videos. I mean, these videos are available over the YouTube, right? So manage your time and just cover all the topics so that you can mention Power BI as one of the skill in your resume. And this particular skill, when it gets added to your resume weightage gets increased. Okay, hold on. Apart from components, what else has been discussed, friends, yesterday? What else did we discuss? Did we discuss what is a report or not? Yes or no? Yes, we discussed what is a report. We also discussed what is dashboard. We discussed what is tile. Yes. Hmm. So tell me, what is a report? What is a report in Power BI? Every day, it will be in the same manner. Initial 10-15 minutes will be consumed for just revision of the previous class. Okay, so post revising all the topics, then we'll start the new topic because this is a hands-on tool, right? Report is nothing but it's a single page. Akhil, I see a page in the bottom left corner. Do you mean this is a report? Yes. Report is a page. This is a page. Okay. It's a page in which we may have visuals. It might be single visual or I can have multiple visuals. Okay. I can have a single visual or multiple visuals in this manner. So this is a report. In this way, how many reports can I create, Akhil? You keep on clicking on, if you click on this plus, the pages gets added. So you can create n number of reports depending upon your requirement. Okay, so report, it's nothing but it's a page in which we may have single visual or multiple visuals. Perfect. This is enough for now. What is a dashboard? What do you mean by a dashboard? It's a single storytelling page which is formed using multiple reports. Good. See, you see publish. I'll talk about all these topics again just to understand, in a better way. I'm just explaining by showing these options as well. The publish option that you see here, which is for sharing purpose. Okay. So this reports, once if they are done, you can publish your work across your organization among your colleagues using service. So what we do is we publish these reports into service initially, and using these reports we'll make a dashboard. So dashboard is nothing but it's a single page. It's a single page visual that uses visualizations from multiple reports. So you can have reports if there are, say, three reports: report 1, report 2, report 3. Okay, so report 1 may have only two visuals, report 2 has three, report 3 has some four visuals. I take whatever the important visuals that are to be considered in the final list. So one from this, two from this second one, and three from the third one. So in total, six will be added to the dashboard. So in a single page, you will have all these six visuals. That is nothing but a dashboard. Okay, and dashboards are generally created only in service or pro friends. You cannot create them in Power BI desktop. Right. Then tile. What is a tile? What is a tile in Power BI? Tile is nothing but single visual. You take a report or a dashboard. A report or dashboard is nothing but it's a combination of some tiles. Okay, each and every visual is called a tile. This is a tile, this is a tile, this is a tile. So either in a report or a dashboard, every single visual represents a tile. Yes, that's it. So, you know, we have discussed all these things, and today I'm going to introduce Power BI Desktop to all of you. So pay attention, friends. I hope parallelly the downloading should be done by this time. Okay, if you are done with the downloading, you can also do with me parallelly along with me. Okay, so let me introduce Power BI Desktop to everyone. Power BI Desktop is a product of Power BI and it's an desktop application. Okay, especially for Windows systems. Okay, so Power BI supports only in Windows systems and a part of Windows, say if you are using Mac or Linux, any other operating systems, you have to go with VM. Virtual machine has to be installed, and inside that VM, you are supposed to download Power BI Desktop. Right. And if you observe, how is the UI? Is it similar to any other Microsoft tool? Yeah, actually, it's similar to uh, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft even Word, Microsoft PowerPoint presentation. Yes. How do I make that comment? You see, there are multiple tabs. These are called as tabs. These are called as tabs. Home tab, insert tab, modeling tab, view, optimize, and help. Okay, so when you try to open, even now, let me open Excel. Home tab, insert tab, page layout tab, formulas, data, review, view, Acrobat. So all of these are some kind of tabs, and each and every tab will hold some ribbons. Under each and every ribbon, we have options. So if you observe Power BI Desktop UI, it is similar to Microsoft products. Yes. So there is nothing different. Probably if we are using a new version of Power BI, you'll get these particular options under the ribbons. These options might change with respect to the icon, but obviously you'll have the same. Don't assume you have downloaded some other software. Okay, I'm using a old version of Power BI Desktop, and if you have installed it today or yesterday, you'll use a newer version of Power BI Desktop. And for every once in a month, there will be a new version released with respect to this Power BI Desktop. Okay, right. So all of these are different tabs. These are called as tabs. Under Home tab, I have ribbons, data ribbon, queries ribbon, insert ribbon, calculations. In this way, I have multiple ribbons. Again, under each and every ribbon, I have options, get data, Excel workbook, one lake data hub. So in this way, again, we have some options. Right. So let us keep all these aside. Now, towards left end, complete left end, you see some kind of icons. Yes. Yes. What are these? The first one is called as report view. Report view. So these are generally called as views. These are called as views in Power BI. So probably till last year, no, in the middle of last year, we generally had only three views, and Power BI had added a new view under this views, that is DAX view. Okay, so let me talk about all these views. The first one is called as report view. Second one is called as table view or data view. Both are same. Third one is called as model view. And final one, the last one is called as DAX view. So we can write the DAX formula in this particular view. Okay, so let me talk about report view first. Report view in which we will visualize the data. So we'll create the views. We'll create the reports under report view only. Okay, so let me change. See, if I just hover my mouse, you see it is clearly displaying. Let me show it now. If I just keep my pointer, my mouse pointer on that icon, I'm getting some kind of pop-up. Excuse me. The first one is report view, in which we'll create reports. The dotted lines that you're observing is called as canvas. So within this canvas, we'll have visualizations, we'll have tiles. Technically speaking, they are called as tiles, visuals, plots. Then the second one is table view or data view, in which we will visualize or we will get the preview of the data. We can see the data. We can see the preview of the data in table view only, friends. Then the third one is called as model view. It's nothing but power pivot. In previous topics, under the components, we have discussed, right? Using power pivot, we are going to make some models. So in this way, we'll create some kind of relationships between the data. I think, is this mandatory? Yes. I'll tell you why. When this particular topic comes, we'll understand why power pivot or data modeling is mandatory. Okay, in what way does data modeling help us? We'll understand, friends. No worries. We'll be slow and steady. Okay, but we'll try to understand each and every topic under Power BI. And the final one is DAX query view. Okay, so in which we are going to keep the DAX formula. DAX stands for data analysis expressions. DAX stands for data analysis expressions. So it's a formula. Okay, it's a formula expressions that we come out with. So we'll keep the formula over here and we'll get the results. If you again, we are not supposed. We don't generally go for DAX query view. We can do the same thing in report view itself. We'll understand when DAX topic comes. Right. So under Power BI, in total we have 4 views: report view, table view, model view, DAX query view. Clear? Yeah. Now, let's come to the right side. Towards the right, complete right. You see some kind of arrow marks, 2 arrow marks pointing towards left side. Okay. So these are used for expanding, then collapsing, expanding, collapsing. Okay, right. So these three, whatever you see here, are called as pane. Let me keep it over here. They are called as pane. Data pane, visualizations pane, filters pane. I repeat one more time: data pane, visualizations pane, filters pane. Okay, understood, Akhil. Now let us talk about these panes. The first pane, the moment I click on these arrow marks, it is expanding the data pane. Under data pane, we will be able to see whatever the data we load into Power BI desktop. I hope you got my point. See, the data that will be shared by the client, or for example, you're trying to take a use case and using the data, we'll try to build some visualizations. Yes, in order to visualize something, the first thing that we have to have is data. So that data, when you load into Power BI desktop, you will get the information of the data under data pane only. Of that specific data, the complete information will be, you may see the column names, the calculated columns, calculated measures and all. We'll discuss. For time being, it's saying there is a message, you haven't loaded any data yet. Yes, we did not start the process. The journey has not been started, but we'll start it today. Right. Then, next to data pane, we have visualizations pane. Trust me, friends, I just open this. When I try to expand, you'll be amazed. The reason is, look out for how many visuals. There are n number of visualizations that can be used to visualize your data. So you remember pie chart that we have learned in our school days for representing proportions, shares. Yes. So we have pie chart under visualizations pane. Then donut. How many of you have consumed donut so far? Probably all of us. So donut chart, yes. Then bar chart, column chart, line chart, then map visuals. So these two here itself we have two components. One is Power View and Power Map. So you see map visual, field map, Azure map, all these talk about Power Map component. Okay, so if you are working with the latitudes, longitude data, geospatial data, these help us to locate the coordinates. If not, if you are working on say a data which has some kind of uh, you know data which has some kind of countries related data, yes, you can visualize it. Then table data, matrix chart, Q&A. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. AI-driven capability that Power BI has. When you ask a question, it results us in a chart, in a visual. Okay, so we'll understand all the visuals. Probably majority the important, because don't assume Akil. Probably I see 6 in one row, and how many rows? 7 rows. So 7 6 are 42 charts. So I think it's very easy to learn. No, friends. If you click on these three dots, so technically these three dots are called as ellipse in Power BI. In Power BI, these three dots, not only these three, wherever you see the three dots, they are called as ellipse. Okay, so when you click on ellipse, you see some options. The first option says get more visuals. So Power BI offers 300 plus visuals. 300 plus visuals are available. Are you sure? Yes. When we try to understand this visualizations topic, I'll show you how many visualizations are available. Don't assume there are only 42. These are the important one, widely used. Apart from these 40, there are more available under this option, but we cannot directly go and use those. I mean, we cannot directly go and have a look on these visuals. In order to get a look or have a look on these visuals, we have to complete the signing process. So unless I tell you don't complete this signing, I tell you when we have to do, okay, or what's the process, I'll tell you, friends. Then, so this is the place where we'll have the complete information regarding the charts, and for each and every chart, we can also format it. So this is, where the place again we'll have the formatting options for each and every chart. Okay, so the majority of the charts, the important charts, we'll understand, we'll visualize the data. Okay, then next to visualizations pane, we have filters pane. So on the data, we can add some kind of filters. Okay, so when you try to add some kind of filters on the data gets filtered. So upon your requirement, what you are trying to showcase. Okay, so to the client, you can play with the charts, the visuals, everything you'll be understanding. But the overview, 4 views and 3 panes, important. Okay, so report view, table view, model view, and DAX query view. Towards the left side of Power BI desktop and towards the right side, three panes: data pane, visualization pane, and filters pane. That's it. And the dotted lines, whatever you are seeing, this is called as canvas, and within a canvas, you will have visualizations. Okay, just as an experiment, just to show you, I'm just clicking on that particular chart. What's happening, you see, it's getting loaded into the report. The chart is getting loaded into the report, and I'll try to add some data into this chart, and it, ultimately the chart gets visualized, the data gets visualized. In this way, I can have multiple charts. See friends, so I can adjust accordingly. I can adjust. See, the red lines that you see are used for adjusting. Okay, so let us not deviate our process. What is the process? The first process or the first component is Power Query Editor. So let us go and understand Power Query Editor first. Excuse me. Then we'll talk about rest of the components. Right. So the first component is Power Query Editor, and before we learn or before we understand Power Query Editor, we should have some data, right? Only if we have the data, we can do any kind of cleaning activities or any kind of transformation activities. So for that purpose, I'm taking a data set. Okay, so this data set belongs to an organization called TrekTech. Okay, so they have provided this data, and this is readily available over Kaggle. So open source data, what I'm trying to do is, I'll take this data and I'll do some kind of cleaning steps. Okay, I'll try to clean the data, I'll try to transform the data. So it is available in an Excel file. The data is available in an Excel file. So the first step is to load. So how to load data into Power BI desktop is the question, the first step. So under home tab, you see get data option. Yes, Akhil. So just click on this drop down, an arrow mark pointing towards downside. If you just click on the drop down, you'll get multiple options, because you cannot tell, or you cannot just say every time the data lies in an Excel workbook, or every time the data lies in an CSV file, or every time the data lies in databases. So we cannot tell, right? Data may lie in different sources. Okay, the sources of data might be n number of sources. So all of them, wherever might be the data, for better understanding, click on more. If you click on more, a pop-up window gets open, and this tells you wherever the source, whatever might be the source, where our data is residing, you can connect or you can load the data. See, that's why Power BI became very famous, friends. This is one of the important reason. Because of this, Power BI have grabbed the market's attention. See, wherever might be the data residing, you can connect to that particular source. For example, let me go to file. I can have the data in an Excel workbook or a CSV file, XML file, JSON file, or a folder, PDF, anything, Parquet. So this is something different. Let us not go into that. So whatever might be the extension, whatever might be the file format, you can load the data. Okay, then let me go to databases. See how there is a list of databases. Whatever might be the database, you can connect. You can connect the database with Power BI, and you can get the data. So probably we guys might be aware of MySQL database, PostgreSQL database, then Microsoft SQL Server database. Yes, because as part of our graduation or as part of, if you are a working professional, we might be using these uh, famous databases where the data is residing, right? So apart from them, we can also connect to SAP, HANA database. Okay, then we can also connect to different servers, Amazon Redshift. Okay, so Google BigQuery, Snowflake, every source. I'm telling you, right? Every source, wherever the data is residing, you can connect Power BI desktop and get the data. So let us not waste our time. I'll go back. Since my data is present in an Excel file, so what I do, I have to select Excel workbook. Excel workbook is the option that I have to select and click on connect. The moment we click on connect, it starts, you know, uh, you have to go and get the right source. I mean, where is the data residing? The path, the location. So my data is present in Power BI desktop, a folder. So this is my data. This is my data. Once if you select the data, the file, and if you click on open, you'll get the data navigator window gets open. This is one way of doing, friends. If not, if not, again, under home tab, under data ribbon itself, I see a separate option for Excel workbook. It's directly, going inside the local machine, and it is showing only as the Excel workbooks. Okay, so I can go jump into the location, navigate the location properly, and select the file. This is the second way of importing the data from Excel workbook. Again, if I click on open, the data, the navigator window gets open. I'll not do in this way as well. You see on the canvas itself, get data from another source. So if your data is available in Excel, you directly click on this particular tab. So immediately, again, you have to navigate the location, select the file, click on open. So there are multiple ways in which data can be imported. Multiple. Even under data pane, you see, there is any data that we have loaded so far? No, I did not load any kind of data, but there is an option called get data. If I click on this get data, this redirects me to the same option get data. So this is also now, this is also a process that can be followed. Again, the same window that was opened so far when we have used get data option from home tab. So this get data under data pane redirects to same window. So using any one of these options, we have to import the data first. So I'll complete the action. I'm clicking on Excel workbook. Then I'm navigating to the location. So this is my file. Then I click on open. Post clicking on open, it tries to build that connection, and a navigator window gets opened. You see, a navigator window gets open. So what is this navigator window means? This navigator window has the list of sheets that are present in this workbook. In this Excel file, this is my Excel file. In this Excel file, do I have only one sheet? No, there are n number of sheets. So it is just giving me the list of sheets that are available. Out of these, what would you like to import? You are supposed to select. Okay, so my interest is main employees. So this is what my data is. This is, friends, main employees is the sheet name, and the data is, this one. So far it is not displaying the preview, but after selecting the sheet, it started displaying the preview of the data so that you can cross verify. Is this the data that we are going to actually work on or not? Yes, this is the data. Then, but still I see the load and transform data options inactive. What might be the reason? The reason is we have just selected, I mean, only the sheet has been selected for preview, not for loading or transforming. So that is the reason load and transform data are inactive. How can we make them active? How can we make these options enable means we have to check in this box. The moment we check these boxes in, load and transform data options become active. Okay, so we'll talk about these two options, but before that, Akhil, what if I want to, load or say transform? I want to get multiple tables at a time. You are taking only one, right? So can I take or can I get multiple tables at a time? Yes. Go and select them like this. You have to select. Only if you select, that means, these four will be loaded or transformed accordingly. The option that you're going to select will be applied only on these four sheets. Okay. So make sure at a time you select all those. Right. So this is my interest. This is the table that I want to actually work on. Now let me talk about these two options. The first option says load and the second option says transform data. What makes the difference between load and transform data? When you click on load data, when you click on load option, the data which we have in the Excel file will be imported to Power BI desktop and the data will reside under data pane. That is what load option does. Okay. So it's nothing but loading. It's loading the data from an offline Excel file to Power BI desktop. Yes. Then what about transform data? Transform data, it loads the data from Excel file, nothing but your source, and it opens Power Query Editor directly. Okay. I remember that Power Query Editor is the component used for transforming data. For doing preliminary cleaning activities, Power Query Editor is the component. Yes. So when you click on transform data, this data will be directly loaded into Power Query Editor, not even Power BI desktop, into Power Query Editor. So let me show you both the options. Let us go and select load first. See, it's loading depending on the number of records, number of columns. It takes time. I'm just working on a small data, so I see the data got loaded. I see the data now. How can you tell that again? You see an arrow mark pointing towards left, sorry, right? Just click on it, and this is my data, all the columns. But Akhil, you see, the columns are not named properly, and I think we have to do some kind of cleaning activities. Yes, so that is the reason It's better if we load the data into Power Query Editor first. So what do you mean, Akhil? Once if we have loaded the data into Power BI desktop, can't we open, or is it not possible to open Power Query Editor? It is possible. So under Home tab itself, okay, there is a ribbon called Queries. This Queries option. Okay, under Queries ribbon, you will find Transform Data. An option called Transform Data is available. Click on Transform Data option again. So after clicking on Transform Data, the data gets loaded into Power Query Editor. So this is Power Query Editor UI, user interface. This is Power Query Editor user interface. Again, I see the same tabs. Home tab, Transform tab, Add column tab, View tab, Tools tab, Help tab. So it is similar to the other products of Microsoft. So it's not something new for me, or not even a person who is. You tell me, friends, will there be a person who haven't used Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, or PPT till their graduation? No, right? Every one of us will use. Every one of us will use at least one of these tools. So this is not something new for us, the UI and all. So this itself, creates some kind of impact on our minds. So we are something learning, not might be new, but if you look at the UI and all, oh, the options and all, yes, I have gone across these options in Excel. Might be some of them are different and a few of them are same. Yes. Okay, so in this way we can open Power Query Editor. Okay, so either if you load the data into Power BI desktop, okay, you can just go under Home tab, under Queries ribbon, we have a Transform Data option. Using this Transform Data option, we can open or we can load this data from Power BI desktop to Power Query Editor, and in Power Query Editor we'll do all the cleaning activities, right? Let me also show you the other way. I'm removing the data. Now let me get the data again, but this time I'll not use load option. Let me go with transform data. So selected the table that I want, then I'm going with transform data option. See, the data got loaded immediately to Power Query Editor. So both of the approaches are same, friends. Either you do it in approach 1 or 2. It's up to you. But I just want to communicate all the possible ways. Okay, approach 1 is bit consuming, time consuming, and approach 2 will be simple, because the moment you click on transform data, it immediately starts, opening Power Query Editor. So our data is ready and we are supposed to start our process, data cleaning process, right? So before we start the process, there are some, few more things that we have to understand. Okay, so in Power BI, tables are called as queries. I repeat, tables are called as queries. And if you see queries and within braces 1, that means under this list, okay, so there is only one table, that is main underscore employees. It's a query. Technically, tables are called as queries in Power BI. Okay, right. So towards left side, you will have the complete or the names of the tables. Main underscore employees is one of the table. Okay, I'm not satisfied with this name. I don't want this name. Okay, if you don't want this particular name for your table name, for your query name, then what you are supposed to do? I'm supposed to, double click on this name so that you can start editing it. So let me keep it as employees, sorry, employees data. What did I do? I'm not satisfied with the name, the default, spreadsheet name. The sheet name itself has been given to the query. So I'm not satisfied with that. So what I'm doing is I just renamed my query. How? By double clicking on that query. Done. That's it. The same information, regarding the query, the information you'll have it on the right side as well. On the right side as well, you'll have the information. You see query settings? Yes. Under query settings, you'll have name of the query. So Akhil, again, can we change the name? Yes. If you don't want to have it, remove data and click on enter. The same name will be reflected towards left side. So either we can change on right side or left side. Both are accepted. Okay, but both maintain the same. As of now, I have only one query. So for that particular selected query, it will display some kind of applied steps. These are important. In Power Query Editor, applied steps will tell us what kind of steps we have applied on the data during our cleansing activities, during our transformation activities, whatever steps we have performed on the data, all the list of steps will be recorded by Power BI. One by one, one by one, one by one. Okay, so apart from it, if you see query settings, what in case, okay, this query settings has been closed, can I get the list of applied steps? No. How should I again go and look at these applied steps? You see view tab? Yes, yes, okay. Under view tab, the first ribbon is layout. Under layout ribbon, you will have query settings as one of the option. So the moment you click on it, again it opens the query settings. Okay, so once the query settings are open, I can see the applied steps. I can see the applied steps. Now starts. What are these applied steps? So friends, as a wild guess, tell me, what do you think? What might be these steps? And again, Akhil, I see some steps have gear icons. Some kind of gear icons are also present for some steps. And for some steps, there is no gear icon. What are these? Go for a wild guess, friends. What might be these steps? Not more than 5 minutes. I'll just take 5 minutes and I'll wind up. Any idea? Okay, that's fine. So, applied steps actually talk about the steps that we have done so far. What do you mean, Akhil? I mean to say, see, I have selected source step. In source step, do you remember from where we have got this particular data? Yes. This bar, this rectangular bar is called as formula bar. Okay, so in this formula bar, this there is some kind of expression. Okay, so this expression is called as M language. There is some kind of formula written, and this is called as M language. M language is present in the formula bar. Okay, so again, don't try to learn this M language because generally it takes time. But is it worthy, or is it mandatory that someone have to learn M language? No, no, friends, not required. But we'll understand what exactly we have done. The first step that I have done is, in order to load this data into Power BI, the source, where is this file located? This file is located in this location, employees.xlsx, nothing but the file name. So in this location, this is the source, and within this file there are 6 tables. Out of 6 tables, which table did we load? Main employees. Okay, so the first step has been recorded. Then the navigation window opened. You remember? Yes. In the navigation window, we selected main employees. Navigator. Yes. Then after selecting this main employees table, what did we do? Did we do anything else? No. I just clicked on transform data. Immediately the data loaded into Power Query Editor. Then what are these promoted headers and change type? Promoted headers are nothing but Power BI is capable of promoting the headers. This is my data. This is my raw data that I have. What does Power BI does? The first record, whatever is present in the data, these record values will be promoted as headers, column 1, because there is no value in column 1. This cell A1, there is no value, but in B1 there is a value. So this will be promoted as header name. Headers. Okay, so Power BI being intelligent, it tries to promote headers. But in our case, it did not promote headers properly. Where are our headers? These are, our actual headers: first name, last name, age, email, salary. Okay, so these are our session. These are our headers. Then, after promoting the headers, it is also talking about the type. Okay, it is also changing the type, in the sense, you see here, based on the data it has, each and every column, based on the data, whatever the data it has, it is giving some kind of data type. But in some cases it is failing. In this case, yes, all of them are text, so it is giving, but in this case it failed. Might be there is some issue here. Okay, so it promoted headers, then it is also trying to fix the data type of the column. But Akhil, it is not doing properly in our case, right? What are we supposed to do? Simple. We have to do it manually. It's very simple. If Power BI did not do, let us do. So how can we do that, Akhil? But before that, again, what is this gear icon, and why some steps does not have this gear icon? In the sense, gear icon represents you can go and change them. You can go and change these steps. In the sense, for example, let me go with the first step. The first step has gear icon. Yes. If you click on gear icon, again, a pop-up window opens, and so this is the file that we have actually chosen. We have chosen this particular file. If you feel that this is not the actual file, you can go and browse again, start doing, get the right file. So You can change your file, you can change your data. That option will be provided only if there is a gear icon. Let me go to navigation. If I click on gear icon, so what table did I select? Main employees. But if I don't want to have main employees, and instead of main employees, it would, if I would like to have sales, I have to select sales, and if I click on OK, instead of employees, I'll see sales. That's what happened. Okay. Then why for some steps there is no gear icon, in the sense there is no option that we can change these steps. The only option is removing that step. Towards left side of the step there is cross mark. This cross mark tells that you can remove that step from the applied steps. Why, Akhil? We generally use control Z, right, for undoing. Let us use control Z here as well. No, friends, control Z doesn't work in Power Query Editor. The only option that we have is removing the step. Remove it. Remove it. See, if you remove, this is the data that we have loaded or imported into Power Query Editor for transforming. Okay, so I'll stop it here, but I assume that there is no question so far, because I'm very slow. I'm expecting some kind of technical questions. If you still have some technical questions, yes, you're free to ask your questions. And yes, we'll provide the feedback link for marking your attendance. Yes, so friends, you're supposed to, for registration and all, you're supposed to ping to that number that was provided, so that the registration link will be provided to you. And any questions so far in today's class, any kind of technical questions? Because we did not cover more, but since we are in the starting stage, let us be, bit slow. As Word, Excel are being used regularly, so Power BI will last long for what? Probably for more than a decade. More than a decade, friend. Sir, after installation, I loaded a small Excel file, but it's stuck in between, saying load data model, saying loading data to model. Yeah, it might take some time. Are you loading the right data? Check once. Again, if you are using or if you are trying to import data from CSV file, you have to select only CSV option. If you are loading data from Excel file, select only Excel option. Okay, from under the get data. Even though if you don't select the right option, at the end it will see. So .csv, right? So select the .csv file option. On both, see, current market, if you go and look out at the current market, everyone is using especially data analyst. You irrespective of the domain, we are generally hearing to this designation called data analyst, and these folks are using, majority of them are using either Power BI or Tableau. That's it. Okay, and if we have a scope of learning these tools in our hand, why should we waste it, is the question. And these folks are being paid in lakhs. Huge amount is being paid. Okay, so let us do it. And moreover, these tools require a lot of hands-on. So that is what we are actually focusing. Okay, do one thing, my friend. If it is taking long time, click on cancel and do it again. You take a small one. No, no, no. It's not like that. It should contain worksheets. What I'm telling is, see, you take any data set. Okay, it might be CSV, Excel, or whatever it might be. Okay, So you are supposed to select that sheet towards the left side of that sheet name. Okay, there is a box, right? So click on that box, and in the bottom you will have load and transform data options getting active. So the moment it gets active, you can click on load or transform data. Then the process is same. Data sets, friends, as I have told yesterday, you cannot expect the same data set. I told you it is available in Kaggle. Okay, so if you are interested in going and looking out for the data sets in Kaggle, go and do it. If not, whatever might be, the data that you have, even we'll have some small data sets, right, with us. So try to work on them enough. So this will be for 20 days, the coming 20 days. So this is at day 2. So probably 18 more days are left out. Or do one thing, friend, get the data, get some other data. Might be you are having an issue. From where we can get the download the data sets? Uh, the same thing. See, if you have any data set, go and just use them. If not, get any data. Okay, any data set is accepted. This is just we are practicing, right? So as a practice, you do it on any of the data set, right? So any other questions? Uh, where can we get our? I think it will be shared to your mail. Okay, so probably from day after tomorrow, check your mail, friends. Okay, so you'll get the certificates. Yep. Right. So if no questions, if you feel this particular session is very, amazing, just hit on the like button before you leave, and also share across your friends, your relatives, or any other people who are actually looking out for these type of sessions. Okay, so thank you so much, friends. I request all of you to join on daily basis and get enough, knowledge on Power BI. So that's all for the day. We'll connect in the next session. Until then, take care. Bye. Signing off.